Hello, and welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher.
The Philosopher and the Fool. Christian song, actually. Have you ever thought about Christian music, how weird it is?
I am the Lord of sea and sky. I the Lord. That one?
Like, there's that one, but there's a lot of them. It's like, just across the whole, whenever they're talking about God, it's like, praise him in the highest. All praise be to you. You are everything, God. Like, they're...
I was getting really bored of like the hot contemporary music on the radio.
Yeah.
I learned we have another channel that we get service for here. And so I started listening to that for a while. It's like the Christian music station. And I thought that like every song being about love was bad. It is so much worse when it's about your dedication to Jesus. It's like, just have an original thought. Holy cow. Like, there's good Christian music, but this was not it.
I'm okay with the dedication to Jesus songs, but actually, I really like the God praising songs.
No, if you had listened to the songs I was listening to, you'd not be okay with the dedication to Jesus songs. It's so American. It's like,
oh no,
it's like, I am happy because I know that I am saved. Like, it's basically a cult who doesn't quite believe in their faith, trying to reaffirm their own faith, like, over and over again.
So, the church I go to,
yeah,
I haven't gone in a long time, the one I was going to has those kind of, like, Americanized pop Christian songs.
Where it's like, my faith is waning, but I'm going to pretend I really believe in Jesus. That's what it feels like to me.
That is what they can sound like, and especially when it's masked, like the high production.
Yeah.
Those songs become very cool and very different when it's a church congregation singing them. Because those songs have two things. One is they're kind of easy to pick up on, but a different thing that the church I go to does, which I think is actually the importance of it for doing that kind of music cannot be overstated, is every Sunday is actually a different group of people performing the music. And why that is so important is there's like this young woman up there the one time, she's playing the piano, she's an amazing singer, there's two guys up there playing guitar, one of them can sing, one can't. And I think that was like the one time, and they sung this one song, and it's like, this song's alright, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. Then this different guy who came up there, this was like a few Sundays down the line, and if you saw this guy like walking down an alley, you would be a little bit scared. Like, he's got tattoos on his arms, he's got like these very dark eyes, bags under his eyes, kind of like crazy-ish hairdo.
Yeah.
And he's one of those people, he used to even talk about us, where it's like, when they're up on stage and they're doing things, they talk a little bit about themselves. Like, he was in a bad place in his whole life.
Yeah.
And he found God.
And he started singing Sam Smith, Mommy don't know that Daddy's at the body shop.
Well, it is sort of that, like, he's a performer.
Yeah.
And so he sung the same song that other couple did. And he sang it completely differently than those people did. And like, he had the company with him playing guitars. And even on stage, like, one person singing it versus him singing it, like, they choose their favorite songs, they sing songs they want to.
Yeah. And
there's this pain in his voice, and this way he's singing it, he does a different style. He's not singing it, like, all these people are doing pop, and he plays it country.
Yeah.
And he's not even playing it like pop country. He's like playing it proper country doing this song because that's the style he knows. And it has this completely different feel to it. And then another time, basically, one of the volunteers couldn't be there. And so the pastor is up there with his deputy pastor, and they can both play guitars. And the pastor isn't a good singer. Like, he's got heart, he's got spirit, he's okay at the guitar. He's not a good singer. And he performs the same song. What's that guitar style where it's Baroque, right? Where you I think, like, you can play music like pop, you can play it like country, or you can just play it the way the notes are.
I don't actually know.
Okay, it's like classic Baroque anyways.
Okay.
He plays it like that, and he sings the song simply. And like, he's an okay singer, but he's not as good as the other people. And again, it changes that song. And so I feel like those songs are actually terrible when they're sung by the original writers and they're overproduced.
The very famous...
Like, the benefit from those songs comes from a congregation singing them and different performers playing them.
If you've heard the very famous Whitney Houston, like, I Will Always Love You, like, she belts out, and it's being parodied to death. Yeah. Very powerful, like, vocal works there. She's not the original singer of that song. The original singer was Dolly Parton. And if you listen to Dolly Parton's version... Dolly Parton is not as good a singer as Whitney. Like, no one's as good a singer as Whitney Houston, right? But well, maybe Son Huang from Korea, but is that her? So Yang. So Yang's my personal pick for best singer ever. But or maybe Dismas. Dismas is pretty awesome too. But anyways, when Dolly Parton sings that song, you believe her.
Yeah.
Like, that is a love song when she sings it.
Well, even there's the weird cases where sometimes the original writer, sometimes it's not. The Hurt song wasn't written by Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
It was written by a drug addict rock star. And the rock star says Johnny Cash's version is the correct version.
Yeah.
But you listen to the two different ones and they're both very different songs. One is a young man lamenting the pain and suffering he's in and how miserable his life is and he can't handle it. And yes, he's famous. Yes, he has it all. But it doesn't matter because he's in pain. Johnny Cash's version is an old man who's had everything and lost it all. Because that's actually the interesting thing about the song Hurt, is Johnny Cash struggled with drug problems of his own. He struggled with his relationship with his wife. And he actually lost a lot of his money and wealth due to all these issues. And the song Hurt brought him back into the limelight. And one of my favorite lines from it, like a lot of people like the beginning, I hurt myself today, just to feel this. And you can have it all, my empire of dirt.
Yeah.
Is
not worth anything.
Yeah, it's like and the music video is brilliant as well with Johnny Cash's version, where he's sitting at this table on this throne, and there's food on the table, but it's all rotten. It's like, you can have it all, my empire burning, like tosses a cup onto the table or something. And also the line, I will make you hurt, when he sings it, it just has such a different and deep meaning to it. And it's like, this is a song of an old man who has suffered.
Now, sometimes the right singer for the song, like Simon and Garfunkel talked about, of course, Sound of Silence.
Disturbed.
Where I think it was Simon said, like, Disturbed sung the song the way I always wanted to be able to sing it, but I couldn't. And I think that really can make a song grow and be more powerful. The Animals sung House of the Rising Sun, and their version is like, people think the Animals version is the original because they did such a good job of it.
People don't know about the other.
Like,
it's a cover song.
Well, it's a cover of a folk song.
So
it's like, it's a copyright-free song that became copyrighted, essentially, because they did such a good job.
Yeah. Which
is amazing. And I don't know if it is actually copyrighted or not, but it's from the 1600s. So
here's a bizarre one. I wanted to talk about this song for a while. This is, you know, when the author writes something and then they write a different book, and it's like, who was the person who wrote that first book? Because it's not you.
Yeah.
It's
Malazan, yeah.
Well, it's like anything like that. Like, there's like a spell of metaphysics.
Actually, I've been rereading, I just wanted some light reading between Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
So I've been rereading The Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
And the first book of Wheel of Time, I'm having troubles continuing because it's so much better than the rest of the series. Like, I don't want to keep going. I'm like, it's so much more... Because basically, it was meant to be a tribute to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And so it's so much more whimsical and mysterious.
Yeah.
Magic doesn't have these rules. Like, Moraine does these things. Like, she makes their tracks go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Like, what's the weave for that in the later book? There isn't a weave. It becomes so much more scientific in the later books, right? And there's little things like, she just causes a whirlpool to open up under the boat and suck it down. It's like, she just knows how to do things that are unusual and strange. And she makes herself grow tall when fire comes from her staff and as she tells a story. And the rest of the story isn't like that. It's much more like magic has rules and here's how you do.
One of my favorite spells, actually, in D&D 5th edition is a spell called Thaumaturgy.
Yeah.
Now, everyone loves prestidigitation because you can use it to clean things, you can make like sounds with it, you can do these like little cantrips. Thaumaturgy is brilliant because it lets you be Gandalf.
Yeah.
So you can have multiple thaumaturgy effects going on at once. I think you can have up to 3. I would like it if I was playing heavy role playing, I'd basically ask my DM if I could, like, my level ups could, like, give me more thaumaturgy effects.
Yeah.
Because you can do things with thaumaturgy, which is you can darken a room. You can make yourself louder.
Yeah.
You can make wind blow open doors and make them bang. You can basically do effects that make you a prophet or a wizard, not into like, haha, I'm a wizard, I'm going to do like a cheap conjurer of tricks. It's like, you actually can feel, do you take me for some cheap conjurer of tricks? And like the Peter Jackson movie of where Gandalf doesn't get bigger, but the room gets smaller, it gets darker, his face like lights up. It's like,
yeah, where it's more they're an embodiment of nature, and nature is bending to them because they are like a storm cloud essentially, and they can swell and they can shrink and they can turn into it. And I think that's much more... I've said it before on the podcast, I think that one of the best books...
It's Voldemort versus...
yeah, like...
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore, yeah.
That is literally... Like, that battle there, or even just them conceptually versus each other, is quite literally scientific magic versus whimsy.
But the thing is, the book, Go West in Shadow, is one of the best books ever written, I think. The short story. Yeah. The full book, which he did after people loved his short story so much, which continues the story, is like okay. It's like an okay generic fantasy book. But the first book, like I've talked about it before, I've never before been so afraid of a zombie in a book. Yeah. Because he reminds you that a zombie is basically the most terrifying thing possible. Yeah. Like, revenants are the scariest things humans can come up with, essentially. Yeah. And it reminded you why. And it was...
Well, it might even be the reason why Patrick Rothfuss hasn't finished his third book.
It's hard to keep whimsy going.
Not even whimsy. He might not have... I'm not talking about whimsy. I'm just talking about, like, the author writes a book and then they can't write anymore. Yeah. He's a good editor. Like, that's his big thing. He might recognize that he can't.
And I think the only author that I know of that's actually pulled... Brandon Sanderson, he's the death of whimsy. He is the guy that is killing whimsy in the entire industry.
And inspiring other people to do it.
Yeah, like, he is ruining whimsy. J.K. Rowling actually got through the entire Harry Potter series, keeping the whimsy going. However, the first book is still more whimsical than the rest of the series.
I have one author who I think maintains whimsy despite having very high rules, which is Garth Nix.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he definitely keeps things...
And that might be why his books are called young adult.
He definitely keeps it going. Especially, let's see, which...
Emerson, I think, tries to explain it the most, but even then, like, all of his rules that I explain just leave more questions.
You know, Brandon Sanderson, you read one of his books, like you read Mistborn, right? Yeah. And then you read Warbreaker, and then you read The Way of Kings. Yeah. And you're like, okay, different worlds, different settings, they're Brandon Sanderson. Like, they're all Brandon Sanderson, right? Garth Nix, you read The Last Kingdom, you read The Seven Towers, and you read the Keys to the Kingdom. That could be three totally different authors.
Old Kingdom, it's not Last Kingdom.
Yeah, sorry, Old Kingdom. Yeah. So the Old Kingdom, Seven Towers, and Keys to the Kingdom. Yeah. That could be three different... Like, it's all him. Like, it's all his dark story. The quality is there and everything. But the type of story... It's not like... There's three different magic systems, but they're totally different. Like, Keys to the Kingdom magic system. Whatever you say happens. That's the Keys to the Kingdom magic system. Seven Towers.
But to translate to the kids... Yeah. If you have enough aura, whatever you say happens. You need to have the right amount of aura. Yeah. And if you don't have enough aura... And you can literally aura farm in Keys to the Kingdom. Like, it is not like some... Like,
you know...
you can literally aura farm.
You know what I think I said, and I think I was wrong, but I think I was only off by 5 years. But I said in 2020, this is the year of wholesomeness. Yeah. This is the decade of wholesomeness has begun, right? Yeah. I think aura is actually... the start of the massive cultural wave of wholesomeness. Because what aura is, essentially, is you're saying there's an intangible, immeasurable factor that still exists and is real, that we can see. Right? That's what... Because aura isn't something you can explicitly... So that is the return of whimsy and wholesomeness and metaphysical to the world. And now they're making jokes of it, but I think that is the idea there, the aura. But, and then what have we got? We have Old Kingdom, is books are very, very dangerous, and bells do things. And
you can bring
free magic is Pokemon.
Well, no. So free magic is chaos.
Free magic is Pokemon.
Yeah, but like charter magic, right? Yeah. Charter magic is order. Yeah. However, if you speak charter magic, if you speak the right order into the world, it happens. However, if you are not powerful enough, it will destroy you. Like when Lyriel used the greater word of binding, and it burned her tongue. Yeah. Or when Clariel spoke the word of opening to get into the sarcophagus, the tomb. Yeah. She was unable to speak for days because she tore her throat open and stuff. Yeah. And so, but it's basically imposing your will on the world. Yes. Yeah. So it's. But it's absolute order, because there's only certain words in charm magic, whereas free magic can do anything. Yeah. However, you need to collect it and gather it up. You actually need to do bargains with the free magic beings, essentially. Yes, or find a source of free magic, and free magic beings are sources. And then necromancy is binding order and chaos together and entering death.
Science, yeah. And then Aberson is like the opposite of necromancy. You're a necromancer, but in the opposite realm. So instead of subsuming order to chaos, you subsume chaos to order.
Yes.
Yeah. Because how does that work? Necromancers have a broken charter mark on their forehead, and Aberson have a complete charter mark.
Yes.
I believe. Yeah.
And the disreputable dog.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about it
is the yin yang.
Well, the disreputable.
Well,
dog,
no, she's
enigmatic.
Yeah. Well, she's chaos. Actually no, she's order, isn't she? She's pure order. Technically.
Yes.
She's a being of the charter.
But she turns.
Yeah.
And like, there's this whole thing in the book is if you go down the river, you die. If you go up the river, you re-enter life.
Yeah.
She turns sideways and walks across the river.
Actually, that's why.
And that's what I love about the disreputable dog is that's her path. Is like you go down the river, you die. You go up the river, you live.
And she goes sideways.
She goes sideways.
Actually, that is why I love Garth Nix, because everything we just said is nonsense. Because if I talk about like the magic systems in Brandon Sanderson, you could write like the rules of his universe, right? Whereas Garth Nix doesn't create magic systems; he creates worlds.
Yeah.
So the Old Kingdom, we shouldn't be saying the magic system is charter and free magic and Aberson and necromancy. Actually, there's a world where it's the UK, except part of it's been sectioned off to Scotland. Essentially, there's a Great Wall there, and that is where all the magic is. And magic tears down things that require consistent processes to occur. So, for example, a spark lighting from a flint and steel is unlikely to occur. So things that you need to reliably happen every time, but have a chance to fail, will just fail. It's like Murphy's Law on steroids, I guess, basically. So electronics don't work, flint and steel doesn't really work even. I think gears and stuff might even break down.
Yeah.
So you can basically only use simple machines. But magic still exists in that realm. And death is a realm that you go to where there's a river of 9 levels. It's kind of like Sumerian, I think, in a way. But you see, there's 9 gates you pass through, which are like waterfalls on this river of death, essentially. And every time you pass through a gate, it's even harder to return back the way you came. And most people, when they die, they just flow down the river swiftly and they go up into the stars.
Do you know how he came up with it and why he wrote the series?
Something, probably Egyptian mythology or something? No?
He challenged himself, or someone challenged him.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's the Egyptian, which is, it's a candle, the book, and the bell.
Yeah.
No, the tools of an exorcist is...
a bell, a book, and a sword?
No, it's a bell, a book, and a candle are the tools of an exorcist.
Right.
And his challenge was to write a story which these things were a key factor in. And he said he wanted to do a story for each factor of exorcism. It's like, a book is too easy. Anyone can write a story about a book, so I'm not going to do that. I have ideas for a candle, I haven't done them yet. The bell is what I want to do first, and that is basically the start of his spark for writing exorcism.
Everything to do with the bell. Wow.
Is that was the start.
And so there's...
So that's how his story writing process comes from. It's like, I want to write a story about bells.
So I believe there's 14 gods, and 9 of them are bound.
Yeah.
In order to... No, sorry, there's 11 gods? Because 9 are bound in order to trap the god of destruction. But then, spoilers, the god of free magic decides not to join in with the others.
Yeah, and yes.
Yeah, so 1 god is bound, 9 become bells, and 1 walks free, essentially. Yes. And then that's kind of the foundation of this system that allows you to control the dead. Because the bells...
No, it controls everything.
Yeah. Well, the bells order... Why do the necromancers... I guess it's easier to control the dead?
There's a lot more of them.
Yeah.
And yes, they're easier to control.
But they also can, like the
you can bind them and make deals with the dead. You can't do that with the living.
Right, because... the dead are more powerful. Because the further beyond the gates of death you go, the more powerful you become. And
so there's a big...
Oh, right. All Aberson have to... what's her name? What's the main character's name? Sabriel? Yeah. Sabriel's unusual because she's actually an undead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and it makes him more powerful the further beyond the gates of death.
Well, so it's not even makes him more powerful. He has a big thing in a series, which is creatures will fit the shape of the environment they are in. So Mogget is a cat.
Yeah.
And the whole reason why he's like, he could go either way, but he likes being a cat because he's been a cat for 1,000 years.
He was a cat for his service of Sabriel's father, but for Sabriel's grandmother, he was actually a dwarf.
Yeah, but he likes fish and he's cat-like, and he likes light and sunbeams, and so he's taken the form of the space he inhabits, and so the dead do that as well. So they take the form of the space they inhabit.
Yeah. What's Kirigor?
Yeah, Kirigor.
He's like a level 9 undead or level 4? I can't remember.
8.
9's impossible, right?
No.
Only Sabriel has done that?
Only Lyriel and Sabriel's son have gone to there and come back.
Didn't Sabriel's father wait at the 9th gate or something?
Yes, he waited at the 9th gate to...
So he could have come back in theory.
Yes. And Hedge almost got back.
Yeah.
Hedge fought at the... No, Hedge was waiting at the 9th gate as well.
Oh.
With the walls of fire.
Right.
Or is that the 8th gate? It's confused. But yeah. Anyways, back to less about the Garth Nixon whimsy, but it's more like authors write a series, and then they can't write something, or something's accidentally written.
Yeah. Except Garth Nix, he never misses.
So there's a...
Except Shades Children's weird.
His sci-fi books are all weird.
Yeah.
So there's a song, it's the Patriots' national anthem. Now, it was written by that group in the United States, which are basically all federal agents.
Oh, Patriot Front?
Yeah, Patriot Front. So it was written by Patriot Front.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be like this inspirational, rebel-rousing song about reclaiming your country.
Yeah.
And they did a damn good job about it.
Down house, fine sons.
No. When I first heard it, it actually put me into tears. And then I found out, this was done by the Patriot Front or whatever. And it's basically meant to this really stupid thing that federal agents do, which is basically cause their own terrorism in their own country so they can justify their job.
We don't actually know Patriot Front's feds. It's just they seem very feddy. But
yes.
But I believe the head of Patriot Front is obsessed with fitness, and so that's the reasoning behind why they all look the same, because they're all work out and...
Yes, and all wear identical clothing and sunglasses and load up into vans that look like federal agents.
Yeah, well, but I think the idea is that he's actually just obsessed with fashion and fitness.
The thing about this song is it did two things.
Yeah.
One, it succeeded, but also I think it left their control. Yeah. It's haha, I shall make this thing I shall create a dragon to justify slaying the dragon.
Yeah.
And I shall be able to slay the dragon because I have the tools. Anyway, so they make the dragon, and then they can't slay it.
Yeah.
That's what I think this song is.
Kind of what are those games called again? Far Cry. Far Cry 5 with the keep your rifle by your side. Yeah. Yeah, where it was meant to make fun of libertarians, and instead libertarians love it.
Yeah, or it's, it's not, this isn't meant to make fun of them, but it's meant to be sort of a propaganda song. Yeah. But it's such powerful propaganda it actually became real.
Have you heard...
It's an illusion that became real.
Right. But so the next part is that they wrote another song and it sucks?
No. I'm saying that... I'm just talking about, it's the idea that you wrote something that got out of your control.
Right.
But then the things building on each other is, if you go back, the most popular tune to the song is based on a sea shanty. Yeah. Now, this sea shanty is also pretty epic. That's not the original tune to that sea shanty. The original tune to the sea shanty is Lost to Time. And so you go back further in time. There's a woman who basically tried to gather all the old sea shanties. She borrowed a song from a much older country folk song and used its tune for that sea shanty. And so part of the reason why this song is so powerful is it's got okay lyrics and the singer sings it with passion. Yeah. But the actual power of the song is it's like a 900-year-old song, which is a folk song. And it takes all that memory and all that...
And it's built on itself and it stands the test of time. Yeah. There's not too many songs that do that, right?
And it's like that. It's one of those magic songs. And...
Like Dies Irae.
Yeah, it's... But even the lyrics itself, of the final version that they came up with is... the lyrics are very much, obviously, this term bedposting. Yeah. Which is one of them is... Brothers, can't you hear my cry? I am lost and I am alone. If no one out there can start a fire, then I will start my own.
That's pretty nice. I like that. That's good.
And it's the guy who delivers it, there is such pain. I'll have to play it for you, actually.
I'll have to look it up, yeah. Do you know the...
There's such pain, and there is just this is a man who needs this.
Do you know the song I'm Proud to Be an American?
Yeah.
I think that should be their national anthem. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Like, not like that, not like born in the... No. Well, that one's okay, even. But no, Proud to be American. And I'm proud to be an American.
Yes.
Like that. It's a great song. That was the wrong tune, though. That was the tune of I'm Not an American by Arrogant Worms.
Yes.
Northern North Americans have no other name options.
Yes.
Or even so, I think I have a plan. Let's join up with the Antarcticans. And even though we're just like
Americans,
but we're not.
We're North in America.
I think the best religious songs are actually what's his name? Leonard Cohen songs. Leonard Cohen songs. Those are songs that you like learn over the course of your life.
Yeah.
Like you listen to them long enough, and then you're like, oh, that's what that meant.
Well, there's also
that's what that meant.
Old religious songs actually as well. So.
And God said to Noah, "We'll build an ark."
Trees of the Field.
And all the trees of the field will clap.
That's a very old song.
Is it?
Yes.
Isn't that based on just like the Bible? Like Jesus?
Yes.
When Jesus comes in? And,
yes. No, it is literally also songs. Like the songs and songs.
Yeah.
If you actually sing the songs from songs, those things are
There's a lady called...
creepy and deep.
There's a lady called Esther something or other who sings them, and she does a great job. Her God is my shield and my compass, I think. It's an amazing song.
Anglican churches sing them.
And the tune, because you need a good tune as well, right? But
yeah. Well, so the other one, this is a weird one I didn't know, which is Orthodox churches.
Yeah.
So they have songs they sing. And their songs, they have loads of different songs. And this old man there told me the tip to Orthodox churches, which is once you learn the tune, the lyrics don't matter. Because there are 3 different tunes in an Orthodox church that are used for every single song.
Right.
And that's a part of it, is these are the tunes we use. And once you figure out the tunes and the breathing and the cadence, you can sing any Orthodox song.
Just look at the lyrics. Yeah.
And it's like, what the? And when you're in there, it's like, geez, you feel like you're getting hypnotized in an Orthodox church, actually.
It's like this. On that note of like ancient stuff having power, right? Like you're talking about, and you tapping into that, like you're saying this Patriot song. Mm-hmm. We'll need to do like a full episode on this someday. But I don't know much about this place right now. But there is a city still on Earth, which it might be the oldest inhabited city. So Damascus is one of the possibilities.
Yeah.
This city is nearby Damascus. So Syria basically has all the top contenders. Like
Prague.
Turkey might have a few. I don't think Prague, like oldest inhabited.
Yeah.
Really?
They discovered really old ruins in it, and they believe basically that area's been inhabited since they were discovered. And I think those ruins are 4,000 years old.
Wow. Yeah, I think so. Pretty old, anyways.
Well, like Prague, I don't know about oldest, but I think Prague is probably the oldest continuously inhabited in city.
Well, like Damascus is still inhabited, and that's like 6,000 to 10,000 years or something. Like they're ancient.
Okay, that might be old, but Prague is very old.
Like these are cities that were old in the Bible, sort of thing, right?
But you remember being in Prague? The city feels old.
No, but it feels old in like a 1,000-year-old kind of way, right? Not like long before Jesus.
It depends on where you are in Prague.
Long before the Egyptian Empire, sort of thing, right? Like it's ancient stuff. I guess like Cairo could be a contender potentially. Well, I don't know.
Like Prague feels old in its own way, and like you can feel the death in the air on the the Mexican pyramids we went to.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of, is there a place older?
But that's like 400 years old, right? Like the Mayans weren't.
No, but I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about with the Mayan pyramids.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you can feel the blood in the air. Like you can feel.
You can smell it. I think you literally smell it.
But you can feel like the energy of that place. But I think Prague is the oldest place I've been to.
In terms of feeling, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could definitely agree there. Paris. Have you been to Paris?
No.
Okay, I haven't either. But that's a pretty old city too. But
like Prague feels. I've been to the Acropolis and walked on the stones of the Acropolis, and so many people have walked on those stones. They're polished smooth by people's feet. And parts of Prague feel older than the Acropolis, and the Acropolis was built by the Greeks before Jesus.
Yeah, I would guess that the Greeks were older, but might not be. But And London is ancient as well. That was the Romans, right? So London is really old. But anyways, Syria has like the oldest cities, I think, by far. Like they're just ancient.
Yeah.
Like that have been continually inhabited. Maybe China has a few, and like Egypt, but the Syrian ones are just incredibly old. Anyways, this city is called Byblos.
Yeah.
And it was famous back in the day for a reed they would grow and pulp and turn into writing material, essentially. Today we call that material papyrus.
Yeah.
But back in the day it wasn't called papyrus because very often, because that was the name of the reed itself, not the material. So they would actually say, yeah, you use papyrus to make Byblos, like that city that it's from. And so now you might notice the name of the city sounds somewhat familiar. All right, just say it.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you might notice the name of the city sounds somewhat familiar, of Byblos. And what does it sound familiar?
It sounds like Bible or Biblioteca.
Yeah. So the Bible was actually named after the city.
Yeah.
Because all books were made of Byblos, right? Yeah. So the word for book comes from the city Byblos, and it's one of the oldest. It might be the oldest city on Earth, right? Now, the part that's fascinating is Byblos, it was a very large city. I think it was a port city. It had a lot of people from different cultures come in there. And so they worshipped a lot of gods. They had like a pantheon of gods.
Yes.
But the main god they worshipped was a storm god. And that storm god's name depended on who you asked. Because, like I said, multi-ethnic city. Yeah. So a lot of people called that god Kronos. That was the storm god that they worshipped. But some people called that god El. And eventually El would become to be known as Yahweh.
Yeah.
And so that is the city where this god originated, basically. But they would also call him Kronos, and that's where the Greeks got their Kronos from, essentially. So this city...
Sorry, when I hear El, I just think of El Cid from Age of Empires 2.
El Cid! Well, you know that El Cid actually means the Cid in Spanish.
Yeah.
But El, so we've talked about this before, but El is a name of God, a way to represent him. And this was the god they worshipped. And the fact that Kronos and El were, at least in this city, the same god. And this was the god they worshipped, and they had a bunch of their other gods. And this is where like paper came from, and the Bible, and maybe writing. And that's basically all I know about the city right now.
Yeah.
But it's like, how is this not the most important city in human history? And how do we not talk about it constantly? Like, why do we know about Rome instead of Byblos?
So, I recently found out about the Shroud of Turin.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
I knew it existed. Okay, so this is what I thought the Shroud of Turin was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a funeral shroud.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was a cloth that went over Jesus, and it's sort of like, oh, this could be any old rusty nail that was stuck in it. This could be the Spear of Destiny. It could be any old spear.
Yeah.
I did not know that the Shroud of Turin had a radioactive imprint of a man who looks like Jesus on it. Or rather, Jesus looks like the man on the Shroud of Turin.
Radioactive, eh? That's interesting. Oh, like, yeah, it has this depiction, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Studies
of that have been done, and the only way, like, that the only way we can think of right now of how the image, the photo negative is on the Shroud of Turin, is it was caused by a high burst of energy. That's what the imprint marks are.
Didn't they do radiocarbon dating of it, and it's like, it's only like 1,200 years old or something? So it might be like Charlemagne's shroud instead of...
No, this is where it's cool.
Yeah.
So there's two things. That study was flawed.
Yeah.
And they were trying to... You look for the information you find.
Yeah.
So that was part of the flaw with that study. And with the carbon dating they did... one of the things about the shroud is there is special moss that grows on it, which is like unique to the shroud.
Yeah.
Which is younger than its original make. Also, the shroud has been repaired multiple times. The sample they took had some of the original material and some of the older material, and when you do that with carbon dating, you'll actually get a mix of the age range.
Yeah.
And so, if you... basically, the math is wrong. And they did a different test, which is a different type of dating, and it found out it's much older. It actually comes from around that time. So it's still up in the air about when it's from. But also, the figure, if you want a brilliant video on it, this is where I found it. Dr. John Campbell did an absolutely brilliant video on it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Isn't he like a...
Yeah, no, it's
a nurse?
Yeah, it's a brilliant video he did on it.
Yeah.
He talks all about it in detail. That's how I found about it. And, like, the image of the man is so haunting in it. And, like, that image is what... Like, so basically, the shroud got hidden for, like, 400 years. Or something that was revealed again. And so, during the period it was hidden, depictions of Jesus got more creative. But then when it was revealed again, they all started looking like the man on the shroud again. But it blew my mind, because I thought it was just a shroud. I didn't realize there's a image on full body image of a man on it with the injuries of Jesus. He is being tortured, he's being beaten.
I didn't know that.
His body is in a rigor mortis as someone who got horribly tortured and died from being on a cross. There is blood marks around the head where the crown of thorns was put in place. You can take samples from it. It's actual human blood that has stained it.
You could even say that Jesus was extrapolated from the shroud, I guess, at that point.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't realize. I thought the Shroud Turin is just like a piece of cloth. Well, I didn't know that it's actually a magical artifact. Like, literally, like, people's like, oh, it's pigment painted on. It's like, no, we've tested. They didn't have pigments of this kind to do it, and that's not how it stained the cloth. This is actually a flash of high energy.
I mean, an artifact's more of a remnant, so it's technically a Class 1 relic.
Okay.
Although, it might be higher, because Class 1 relic is the blood of a martyr.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, this is a Class 0 relic.
But if it's blood of Jesus, it might be class. Yeah, it might be higher class.
Like, this thing isn't just like, oh yeah, 5 different churches have a nail of Christ, even though there's only 3.
Yeah,
it's like, no, this, like, all the evidence points towards this.
Well, you know, Notre Dame has, like, the crown of thorns.
Yeah,
like, it's just a thing that they have. Like,
yeah, but it's like, but anyone can have a crown of thorns. Like, crown of thorns is just a weaving,
I guess,
of thorns. Anyone can have a spear. Anyone can have a nail. Anyone can have a piece of wood, which is a cross you want. Anyone can even have a simple goblet that a carpenter's son would have drunken from. But this is a photo negative of a man on a piece of cloth. There is nothing in the world like it. Like, there are other death shrouds with slight imprints. John Campbell actually talked about this. He worked at a mortuary for a short while.
Yeah.
And he says, like, one of the creepiest things you can see is the person's imprint on a death shroud that's on them. But none of them are in this amount of detail, nor made.
Because I thought it was quite common for, like, the Saxon kings to have, like, a shroud with, like, an imprint on it, like you were saying. Like,
no, it happens.
Yeah.
But it's nothing like the Shroud of Turin.
Right.
And there's a thing in Spain which has been dated, and it's about the same age as the Shroud of Turin, and it's basically it's a head wrap that they'd also put on bodies, and it's got blood on it, and they haven't done testing, but it's basically consistent that this might be the thing that was wrapped around his head as well.
Right.
But what strikes me about the imprint is, like, as I said, it was caused by a high burst of radiation. My mind went to with this thing is basically he's wrapped up on this thing, and then when he comes back to life, it's like, boom, holy light rays from the body leaves the imprint, the photo negative on the shroud.
There's more possibilities, like he was hit by, like, an X-ray or something.
Yeah.
Because, like, if a pulsar just fired on him and, like, hit him, or...
Alright, yeah, so even if he's the claimed son of God,
a pulsar beam hits him,
and he didn't come back to life, let's say, like, that was a big hokum.
Yeah, no.
There is still the fact that a pulsar beam hit the so proclaimed son of God, the savior of mankind, and left his imprint on his shroud.
Or it could be, so, did you know that the Ark of the Covenant, like, we know its location, and there's even, like, we know the person who's in charge of guarding it. So, in Ethiopia, they actually have a building where they store the Ark of the Covenant, and they have a guard outside who's not allowed to go in, but he's, like, the only one, and it's this very highly regarded position. Have we talked about this before?
No.
Okay, so, the thing is, the guards, like, it's this great position that, like, you're very much considered honored to be the guardian of the Ark of the Covenant. The guards all die young. Like, they die in their 50s. And they have, like, their bodies are failing, they're falling apart, their hair's falling out, their stomachs are not working properly, they can't digest food properly. And they're basically signs of radiation poisoning. And so it seems like the Ark of the Covenant might be, like, highly, highly radioactive.
Yeah.
Which is interesting when you combine it with, like, Jesus also being radioactive, apparently.
Even on those weird things, like the Golem.
Yeah.
It's...
Oh, yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, well, it's not even it's up there. Like, my favorite thing is, in modern times, the guy who's in charge of that synagogue's inn went up there.
Yeah.
And then he came back and he closed and locked the door again. And he said it's still up there.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
It's still up there, you know. If Prague gets attacked, you better watch out. He's ready.
Yeah, but it's just the Shroud is so mind-blowing to me. And it's like the Say of Bill. It's like, why aren't more people dying?
Yeah. And, you know, since World War II, the golems become much more powerful. Is that really... That's probably very esoteric. So it's the golem...
It's powered by the souls of the dead,
Well,
right?
it can actually summon the souls of the dead. Yeah, so Prague has... I mean, Prague's had a lot of violence in general.
Unbelievable. So when you walk around Prague, you'll see in the cobblestones these white X's. We were told what those white X's are. Prague is an old city with lots of churches. And churches had graveyards outside of them. Now, Prague's a growing city, and the city actually has gotten taller over time.
Yeah.
And they need to make the streets wider. So the compromise to removing the graveyards is they built over them, and then they painted white X's on the roads of that's where a grave is. And so when you're walking over those things, there's a dead body below you. Yeah. That's the story. Like, that's the spooky story. It may or may not be true, but basically, wherever there's a white X in Prague...
There's a grave.
That's a grave. That is why it's the city of ghosts.
Well, I'm actually thinking about it, right? Like, you could combine all the myths quite easily. If the golem is still around, and it summons the spirits of the dead, then the reason there's ghosts everywhere is because there's still a golem there, right? Like, it just kind of lines up just like that.
Yeah, well, even with that, the Siege of Prague, the famous one at the end of the 400 Years' War, I think, is like a Polish mercenary army.
400 Years' War isn't right? It's called something.
300?
Was there? There wasn't a 400 Years' War.
I think there was.
Was there?
Yeah.
How do you even fight for that long?
There's a lot of deaths in it.
But how do you, like... Why are we fighting again? I don't remember.
Or was it the 40 Years' War?
40 would even be a lot. Like, I could believe 40, but that would be a long one still.
Anyway, so it was the end of the war.
Yeah.
They realized it's coming to end, and there was basically an army of, like, mercenary Poles, I think it's the Polish, or that area, that realized they weren't going to make money anymore. They wanted money. They wanted to have one last battle to get loot. Prague wasn't even their enemy, but it was a city nearby on their way home.
Yeah.
And so they decided we're going to loot and pillage the city so we can get our loot.
Yeah.
And so they attack the city, and in lots of cases when cities like that are attacked, basically citizens roll over, they get killed, someone survives, the city gets looted, and then they try to rebuild. There's two things about Prague. It's a walled city, and the citizens said no.
Yeah.
And so the small standing army, the nobility, the citizens armed the walls of the city. They held the gates, they held the bridges, they held the river. And they fought the army off with much superior weapons, and I think superior numbers even. But Prague survived that siege, and they won. And it's like the Siege of Munster. There's a horrifying part of that siege, which is, we saw this bridge. It's a gatehouse that goes over a much smaller river, not the main river.
Yeah, we went up into a little guard post.
Yeah, so that gatehouse...
That separates the old city from the new city now.
Was under attack. And they broke open the door.
I would hate to assault that place. Like, it's hard to walk up those stairs, let alone, try to fight someone.
Yeah, so they broke open that door, and they were going to get into the rest of the city there. If the army got in, the city was screwed, basically, at that point. The soldiers weren't there. They were defending other parts of the city. There was, I think, a sergeant at arms or something there. And he said to the citizens, "We need to repair this door. We cannot let them through. Any man who is like a proud son of Prague, come with me and stand."
Yeah.
And so they pushed the attackers back and they fought on the bridge. And as the guy with a bunch of men and women, and while the gate was getting repaired, they basically held it. And then all the people on the bridge were killed. Not one of them survived. And this besiegers started attacking the door. And then they realized how it had been repaired is because they didn't have materials. Whenever someone would die, they would grab the bodies of the dead people on the bridge and chuck it, like basically manhandle it backwards. And the door itself was repaired with the dead bodies of the citizen of Prague. And basically that whole gateway was clogged with their bodies. Yeah. So the soldiers couldn't get through.
Yeah, it's...
Like that is what Prague is. It's kind of ruins it because World War I, I think World War II changed the game up so much.
Yeah.
But before that, Prague was a city that had never been taken. Like, actually, no one had ever taken Prague. It was the unsiegeable city. Like, you tried, you would fail.
Yeah. Yeah, I think no, and those stories are amazing. Like just these little, like Julius Caesar has the story where they did a similar thing. Actually, they made a wall out of bodies pinned together by spears in order to have a defensive position, essentially.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the one where there was some Chinese official boating down the river, and he saw a snow-capped mountain in summer, and it's like, why is there snow on that mountain? It's like, no, that's the Mongol body pile. Those are like corpses.
Yeah.
It's like, jeez. And we can actually detect, like, I think it's like a 2% CO2 dip when the Mongol Empire was around. Like, there's stories like that, but it's just, history is amazing. And then there's so much that we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about the carbon dating of this shot at Turin, right?
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing about carbon dating is it's like this great scientific method until it makes no sense. So you're like, this is the same time as Jesus? Can't be, right?
Yeah.
So up here we have...
Well, that's why I said a different method of dating was done. That's like a new kind of dating.
Yeah.
It's like a radiation dating that's not deals with radio or carbon, and it found it is older.
But so this up here we have remnants of bows, right? And so we found these most of the arrows around here are about 700 to 100 years old that we find in the ice patches and whatnot. There was one arrow they found, and the earliest introduction of archery was about in like North America that we can figure is like 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And that wasn't here. And here the oldest archery is 700 years ago.
Yeah.
Except we found one arrow that's like 3,000 years old.
Huh.
And so they were like, okay, send it to a different lab. Like, this is ridiculous. Don't tell them what it's about, just send it to a different lab. And they're like, yeah, it's 3,000 years old. Okay, so we're going to say archery is, because every other arrow is 700 years old. We're going to say archery is 700 years old. But this thing exists and we don't know what to do with it.
There's a different problem with that as well.
Yeah.
About wooden armor. Which is wooden armor doesn't stick around.
Yeah, well, like wood doesn't stick around in general. That's why archery is very difficult to figure out.
Well, so there was a really cool video released recently by Todd Cutler of Todd Cutler's Workshop, which is Armor versus Archery.
Oh yeah, the third one, I think.
Yeah, he released the third one. And the really cool thing from this is they used a new kind of arrow. It's the 14th century.
Yeah.
They invented a new kind of arrowhead, which is far superior to the old arrowhead. So the most common arrowhead in the past was the Type 9...
it was hardened, right?
It was iron.
Yeah.
It was a Balkan... What were they called?
Yeah, hardened iron arrow, right?
Yeah, Type 9 Balkan arrowhead. And what was found in their testing with this arrow is when it hits armor, it basically skids off the armor, the arrow snaps. They don't get through armor.
Yeah.
So their new kind of arrow, I think, is a Type 14 or a Type 16 or something. And their arrow maker did his best to make these 14th century arrows. There's two kinds of them. There's welded and bronze braced.
Yeah.
And you have a iron arrowhead with then a steel, basically, blade on the end of it. Because steel is 4 times as expensive as iron.
Yeah.
But basically, you cap it with steel, and then this goes on the arrow, and the idea is it will bite the armor, and it will pierce the armor.
Right.
And so, their first little bit, they did some tests with it. They tested against the different materials. It seemed like they tested against like a flat piece of steel. They fired the old arrows into it. They fired the new ones into it with their warbow expert who has like a 140-pound draw warbow.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, there doesn't seem to be much different with these arrows than new ones. I'm not certain why they're so popular, but like their penetrating power doesn't seem all that great, or so yeah, they carry on. And then they test these arrows against the armor cuirass that they have, the old armor cuirass, just to see.
Yeah.
And they fire the arrow doesn't snap.
Yeah.
It hits the armor, it doesn't deflect, it just bounces backwards, and the arrow doesn't break, and the head's still sharp, and it's bitten into the armor. And what they found is when they're testing against the proper armors, whenever it hit our armor, the arrows they break way less often, and they deliver all their force into the armor. The steel head bites the armor, it pierces in slightly, it never like hurts the guy. But an old arrow, the Type 9, would deflect off your helmet and go, what just hit me? These arrows hit you, you're getting punched by a fist because all the energy is delivered in the blow.
Yeah.
And they're like this way more devastating arrow. It's like such a small change is you attach a steel blade to the end of the arrow.
I wonder.
And what's really cool about this video, I highly recommend anyone watch it who's curious about that kind of history. Is my favorite kind of history, which is investigative history. Is the archer got a bunch of his friends. So they have something like 9 warbow, like English longbowmen.
Yeah. And
they had a guy make them maybe around 100 arrows.
Yeah.
And so they just do volley fire against the suit of armor that someone else made. It was brigandine plate. and they like put all the gear in it. So it has chainmail on the inside. It's brigandine. It's got the proper gambeson on the inside. It's got gauntlets. It's holding a sword. It's got a helmet. And basically, the brigandine doesn't fail.
Yeah.
Someone shot it in the eye, so arrow went into the eye of the helmet. That was a kill. Another person shot in the throat, and it went through the throat boss, and it went through the mail armor.
Yeah.
And so Todd said, look, this wouldn't have pierced his throat.
Yeah.
But he just got punched in the throat by about, like, that much space.
Yeah.
He's dead or near to dead, taking that much force. And the big thing is, at that time, people wouldn't wear armor on their legs. And the archers weren't trying to... They wanted to hit the armor.
Yeah.
But every time an arrow hits someone in the legs, like, that guy's probably dead.
He's out to the count, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, they would hit gauntlets and various other things. But it's just... It's like the overwhelming fire. It's not even... You're walking forward, and if you don't have a shield, it's like, yeah, the armor's protecting me. But for how long? And, oh, I got hit by an arrow and that hurt. And, oh, my buddies are getting killed. And it just takes one guy to get lucky and hit you in the eye.
I had my archers do a volley fire for one of the last days of class, and it's like it's powerful. It's like boom, you hear all the strings, and then you hear like. Bah, 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 bah.
Well, actually, what they say is volley fire wasn't a thing that was done in military.
Yeah,
it was basically a guy would say ready and shoot because like holding your bow, like war bows are too heavy, and so they just keep firing. So they did the rapid barrage, and they start out synced, and they slowly lose sync as like different skilled archers aiming. But even that withering fire of continuous shots is terrifying.
And it's loud. It's like, But we're actually doing like reenactment sort of history stuff like you're saying as well. Yeah. We're trying to figure out the techniques they shot with here.
Yeah.
And so one of the things they did was they held their bows sideways.
Yeah.
And
is that like the crouching hold sideways?
Yeah. And also if you're on your canoe, you can't stand up. So you do it sideways. And also if you're hiding behind like a wall or something, sideways. And it is insanely accurate. Like the first time you shoot with it, you just look where you want the arrow to go, and it hits it. It's like ridiculously accurate technique. It takes a lot more power, and it's a lot more likely to injure yourself.
Yeah.
But it's like so now the up and down isn't as accurate, but this left and right is like perfect accuracy every time.
Well, so you look at like the technique.
Yeah.
You look at the warbow guys all drawing.
Yeah.
And the thing about warbows, I think like the big thing that made them different is there's a bow they had to have because of the conditions they lived in, like their bows had to get wet.
Yeah.
And so those are kind of bows they had, because I think the Mongolian bow...
Yeah, it couldn't handle water.
The recurve bow, I think, is actually a much better bow than the longbow.
Yeah.
Like, they have pretty equivalent range, they have pretty equivalent power.
Well, the Mongol bow wasn't just recurve, it was composite, so it had, like, layers of sinew on it and stuff, which made it way stronger.
Yeah, well, even the recurve and composite bows, like, I think those are actually superior bows in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because you look at an English longbow, like, those guys are not healthy when they draw,
like their spine.
The main archer, the guy who like does it for his living with like his 140-pound warbow or whatever it is, like he draws his bow and like he sucks in this big breath and then he's like exhaling the whole time. He looks like he's in pain, sweat's pouring down his face. He has to like do this ridiculous posture to even draw the bow, and his whole body looks like it's in agony.
Now you can actually look at when they like look at bodies in the UK, they can actually determine who was a longbow archer and who wasn't, because their spine is warped if they shot a longbow.
Yeah, and it's like,
and
these bows, like they require you to be a different kind of human to fire.
You actually have to dedicate yourself to it as well. Like it was warping your body.
Yeah.
We have one of our archers. She was shooting a 30-pound bow and she was too young, and so she has scoliosis, so her spine's warped from archery. Like archery is not good for your body. No. There's another archer. He came to me and. He's actually a cousin of a friend of mine, I learned recently. But he came to me and he was like, so my fingertips are dying. Is there a way I can, like, can you give me some advice on, like, my 70-pound bow? Like, what can I do to, like, prevent this? Stop shooting a 70-pound bow? Like, what do you want from me?
No, what you do is, here. And you take out a windlass crossbow. So you just put this here, and you wind this up. And they're not quite as good as a bow.
Yeah.
But they're pretty good. They take a little longer to load, but once you get skilled at them, they're only about 1.5 times slower.
They're also illegal.
Are windlass illegal?
Crossbows are illegal in Canada, basically. Yeah. He's a hunter. So crossbows are illegal for in Canada in all provinces except like Quebec, I think.
You can also just give him a compound bow.
Yeah.
Which are way healthier to draw.
But what he does is he just leaves his bow in his driver's seat.
Yeah.
And then whenever he sees a grouse, he hops out and shoots it.
Okay.
And so you can't really do that with a compound, right? You can't just have it in your car all the time. And the grouse laws are ridiculous. Like, he was telling me you're allowed to get like 20 grouse a day or something. Like, there's no limit, essentially.
He could have a hunting bow, a stone bow.
A stone bow?
Yeah.
Like a bow made of stone?
No, stone bow is the kind of bow that it had a pouch on it and ball strings, and you'd load small stones in it.
Oh, I see.
And fire them, and they were a hunting bow.
Right, but you still want the power.
Yeah, they're a low caliber hunting bow used for birds that you want to destroy the body.
Right, but he uses a 70-pound bow with a blunt tip, so the arrows... It looks like a meat masher, basically, and you stick it on the tip, and then...
Yeah, but I think a stone bow is a lot lower pound.
Right,
it's also short range.
But there's laws. You have to have at least a 40-pound bow to hunt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you...
Yeah, then he should use a 40-pound bow.
Yeah. I think his hunting bow in his car is actually 40-pound.
Yeah.
But he has his practice bow of 70 pounds.
Yeah, you don't need that much weight.
No, it's a little bit much. If you want to hunt, like, moose or something, it's good, I guess, but... and I think he does want to eventually hunt, like, moose or sheep or something. Everyone always asks me, do you hunt? I'm like, no. I'm like, why not? And when I have a 3D target, I'm like, okay, so here's the point system on 3D. 11 points, 10 points, 8 points, -5. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because if you miss just a little bit, you still have to chase that animal down. And it's not having a good day.
That's why you need to fire the arrows that work their way into the bloodstream. And
I told you, like, the best arrow ever? Yeah, like those things. Those are... Well, not into the bloodstream, but just into the muscle.
Or actually, there's those arrows, this type of hunting arrow, which is, it's 3 blades that are put together.
Yeah.
And when you hit the target, the arrowhead explodes inside, and the blades basically just go spinning out.
Yeah, I think it opens up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like a broadhead is good enough for most parts. But still, you don't want to, like, clip something into the leg and then...
What you have to do to go hunting, what you say is, right, well, if you want to carry my boar spear for me, I'll get on my horse with my tiny hunting crossbow.
I want to get my... So before they had bear spray up here, they actually did have an anti-bear technique, which was a spear. It was called a bear spear. And basically, it like flared up like a bulb at the top.
Yeah.
And then it had a little, like, went in and then you had like a little sticky out bit there. Yeah. And basically what you would do is if a bear was like about to attack you, you would start like trying to rile up the bear, like, yeah, come on, get me, come on, come on. And so the bear would charge you was the hope.
Yeah.
And then you would plant the spear between your knees and in the ground, and then hope that the bear impaled itself on the spear and you didn't die. It's like, that's got to be like the worst anti-bear technique ever.
The boar spear.
Yeah, except like it might not, like, you might stop I don't think a bear is stopping. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it didn't have the crossguard like a boar spear. It just had a bulge because you couldn't like stick a crossguard on it.
Well, it's like the Komodo Island guides. So there are these park rangers that specialize on walking around Komodo Island, and they've got these sticks with this crossguard on it, and the crossguard for their stick is basically, you know how Komodo is like Australia but worse.
Yeah.
So their technique is they pin Komodo dragon heads so they can get away, but there's also poisonous snakes, and so they pin their heads, and there's other creatures that want to leave, so they pin their heads. And a different thing these guys can do, which is absurd, is they can plant their stick because it's highly braced.
Yeah.
And a lot of things actually can't climb.
Right,
and
so they jump up your stick.
Literally, they jump up their stick and they balance on it. And then things can't get them. Yeah. And so there's like a guy who was with the guides there. It's like, the guys, this is the man who's meant to protect us. So anyways, we're walking along and we see he's staying behind us. And then he panics and he disappears. It's like, where did he go? Then we look up. We see he's bouncing on top of his stick, waving at us to get away from what we're doing. We're like, no, we're supposed to take pictures of them close. And he shouts at us, this is far too close for me already.
But Komodo dragons can, like, the babies can climb, right? Like, not the adults, but the younger ones.
They're too lazy to climb. That's like the big thing.
Well, I thought it was kind of a survival thing where because the babies or the adolescents can climb, they can't get eaten by like the older ones. Yeah. What an awful, like, what an awful species.
What an awful island. Yeah. Like, a different thing is, like, if you go to there, that guy, the author who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
It's like, we want some antivenom for Komodo Island. No. None of our antivenom works for it.
Yeah.
It's too far away. Venom's changed.
Like, why are you going to Komodo Island? Just don't go.
There's an antivenom that works for this island.
Yeah.
What do you do if you get bitten?
You die.
Hope to die fast. So, Komodo dragons have cultivated a special kind of gingivitis.
Yeah.
Which they're not only are they immune to, but it kills everything else much quicker. And they've also developed a kind of, it's not rabies, but like a different kind of bacteria. And they're carrion eaters. It's like, oh, and Komodo dragons are poisonous. What? Yeah, they have a special kind of poison. It makes it so you don't stop bleeding. And your wound stays open. So it gets infected. So you die. But they don't want you to die too fast. Because they might not be ready to eat you. So they want you to suffer for at least a week before you die.
Yeah,
and then they're ready to eat you.
And what I don't get, right, is like the dragons, sure, the birds, okay, but like there's
the deer.
Like, why are they there? Can we send a humanitarian effort to send some ships over and just get every deer and leave? You're coming with us. We're gonna release you in like to the wolves of Siberia or something where you're having a better time.
Yeah,
it's like how are the Komodo dragons must not be that dangerous? Like the fact that the deer population is sustained,
yeah,
right? Like it means that it's probably not as that bad in a way, but still.
Well, it's like a deer dies, and then several Komodos will actually eat his corpse.
Yeah, so it's not like they're like slaughtering 3 deer a day.
Also, they eat each other.
Yeah, it keeps them in check. But you just think there wouldn't be like that many big ungulates around and whatnot. I guess we're getting close to the end. I'll wrap up with, I guess, this, which is we had the episode recently on Lest We Forget, right?
Yeah.
And I think I came up with the answer to my question, which is like, what is Remembrance Day for?
Yeah.
And I think it isn't about like don't have war, and it's not about we did this for freedom. I don't think it's any of that. I think it's because it was, again, I was reading like Hitler's experience of World War One.
Yeah.
And how much life was senselessly lost, essentially. Yeah. And all these people who, in their early 20s, like Hitler was talking about how he was a veteran at like 24 or something. Yeah. Like he was like the old hand that have seen it all before. Yeah. He was 24, right? So most of these people are like dying in their like 20.
Yeah.
Or younger.
Younger.
Yeah.
Like 16.
And I think they don't have a family. They weren't able to write a book or a song or be an actor. Like you hear about like Tolkien, right? He came out after the war. He did all these things. Like everyone, basically everyone from that generation was in the war. And afterwards they went on and lived their lives. And so they have a legacy. These guys don't have a legacy. All they did was fight for their country and die. And they're in these unmarked graves just ground into the mud, basically, right? Like, and so, well, we remember lest we forget, but we remember the price that these people paid, essentially. And more importantly, remember that they paid it. We remember
We remember them. We remember the forgotten.
Yeah, so we remember the price and those who paid it.
The nameless soldier.
There's a line in Soldier of Heaven. The nameless soldier is a great example in Canada. In Italy, there's another great example. It was like hundreds of soldiers. But Sabaton actually wrote a song about them called Soldier of Heaven, which I think is their best song. And it's essentially... there was fighting between the Austrians and the Italians, I think, and in the Alps. And an avalanche happened, and it killed like hundreds upon hundreds of soldiers. Yeah. And their bodies are still there. Like, we can't get them. And actually, I've heard... Is that there as well with like climate change or global warming? There's been like bodies coming out of the mountains, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a line in the song which is, I've seen it all, but none will hear my story. Because essentially these guys are entombed in ice, like they're just irretrievable for the most part. And we don't know who these people are anymore. And it's like, just remember that if we can't remember them, at least remember that they were there. Like, give them at least that. They died. Like, it doesn't matter why they died. It was just...
Remembrance Day is their grave.
Yeah, exactly. It's their tombstone. It's the marker. It's their grave marker.
Yeah.
Remembrance Day is a grave marker for all those soldiers who just vanished in World War I and World War II.
Yeah.
The other wars as well, but I think mostly those ones where it's like, these people just went off and died and there's nothing left of them. Yeah. So let's just remember them. And I think that is a very, actually, nice message. And I think that is the answer. Remember the price. And I think the price is important as well. It's not that you can't pay it, it's just... Especially World War I, where it was a senseless meat grinder for so much of it. It was like, send them into machine gun fire.
You mentioned Tolkien, and there's something interesting about Tolkien's history in World War I, which is a lot of people like, oh, it's an allegory for the war or whatever. Yeah. So Tolkien was a scholar. He actually delayed going to war because he's a scholar. Yeah. But he went anyways because it was he had to do. And he wasn't exactly a nobleman. His wife was, who he married later. Yeah. But he wasn't a gentry, but because he's a scholar, he was given an officer rank. And he got slightly injured and majorly shell-shocked by World War I. And so he came back to England, and he was in a hospital, basically, to deal with shell-shocked people. Like, he recovered, but he's still shell-shocked, and they didn't know what to do with him. And that's basically when he and his wife were together, and he started writing the story of Bering and Luthien, and they're walking around the trees, and like part of his recovery of like becoming a sane human being again, so he wasn't like ruined for the rest of his life, is his wife. They'd be out in the garden, and his wife to be would dance and sing along the linden trees.
Yeah,
and that's what made him like inspired Luthien, was her doing that for him. And so it's like when the whole thing about Tolkien, it's like, oh, it's the allegory for us. Like, this man was almost destroyed by war, and he's one of the lucky ones who survived.
Actually, in Mein Kampf, I didn't know this, and again, it's Hitler, so take it with a grain of salt, because he could be lying. Because when he wrote Mein Kampf, it wasn't like he was trying to hide who he was.
Yeah.
Like, there's a section on syphilis where he says everyone with syphilis should be rounded up and isolated from the rest of society for the greater good of society. Like, you know, Churchill read Mein Kampf before the war, and he was like the most anti-Hitler guy in the UK, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, no wonder. It's like, if you read his book, it's like, we need to attack Russia. We need to round up all the different people and put them in prison. Jews are evil. French are evil. It's like, was anyone surprised by anything he did? But
yeah, no, Tolkien also wrote like a scathing letter about Hitler.
yeah,
I can't remember.
no, he was defending the Jews.
Yeah, but like what Tolkien...
Hitler was a big fan of Tolkien, I believe. And Hitler said like something like, you know, I hope they're not Jewish or something. He's like, I wish I was a member of that great race of people. And
Tolkien's thing is, it shows his caliber of a man, of how scathing it was though towards him. Like it's not just like that. Is actually like well written.
But so, anyways, Hitler. So the joke about Hitler is he was rejected from art school, and that made him go evil, right? But actually, what happened was he applied to art school, and they said, your portraits aren't that great. Your buildings are amazing. You do better as an architect, but you need to have your sciences for architecture, and you failed all those in high school because you were trying to. I think I talked about this before, but he failed them because his dad said you had to learn them, and he hated his dad, so he didn't want to make his dad happy, basically. So he purposely failed those classes. So he had to take remedial classes in order to get into university, and then he could become an architect. And he was either did a bit of university at that, or he never quite got there, and then the war happened.
Yeah.
And so then he applied to fight on the German front in Bavaria, which supposedly he wasn't actually supposed to have been allowed to do that. It was a paperwork error because he was an Austrian, so he wasn't supposed to be fighting for Germany. But he was this massive German patriot, and so he actually applied to join the war. He's like, please let me into the war, please. And they're like, okay, go ahead, whatever. So he went into the war. And he was very excited at first. He was very happy. He loved his first battle. He was like, this is amazing. This is the best day ever. He was like very bloodthirsty sort of guy. But it wasn't about killing. It was about fighting.
Yeah.
He thought it was very heroic and manly. But then it just day after day after day. And so he started to think this is awful. And the thing he hated the most was the morale of Germany itself was collapsing. And even though the soldiers were all happy, the people back home were like, we're going to strike in the munitions factory. We're not going to give you ammunition anymore. And so he believes, a lot of Germans at the time believed that it was called the stab in the back. They believed that the soldiers were betrayed by the people of Germany, the women and the Jews specifically. But although I don't think Hitler was a sexist, he seems like he was actually fairly egalitarian. But he really believed the Germans and the Marxists and the soft-handed coward politicians basically betrayed them. But he was, in his final battle, he said it was awful because they had this great victory in his first battle in the field of Flanders or something. And then they had a victory that was like further back a few years later, and then they retook all the land they had lost. And so he said, like, my fourth major battle of the war, I finally stood on the land I'd stood on 4 years ago. And so it was like just pointless fighting is his point there. But he said they were gassed, so with mustard gas, and it blinded him. And so he was brought back to the hospital. And he said his eyes, like at the time of writing Mein Kampf, he said his eyes never recovered. And so, like, even when his vision returned after a week, everything was very dark and hard to make out. And so he realized he couldn't be an architect anymore because he couldn't draw. So he lost his ability to draw, essentially, from being blinded.
Yeah.
And then he said, okay, so I need some way to, earn a living.
Yeah.
And I can't draw anymore. And the way he was earning a living before was he would sell pictures. Yeah. So he would just sit. He was a busker, basically. He'd sit on the street and sell pictures to people.
Yeah.
And like watercolors. And he's like, okay, I can't make a living anymore. I can't become an architect. My dream of being an architect's gone. So I guess I have to go into politics. And so it wasn't he got rejected from art school, so he got blinded. Was
something on the war being considered like noble and going to fight.
Yeah.
So there's this concept before World War I, which is that the nobility It's like, go off to war and become a man.
Yeah.
And so you'd go off to some sort of safe fighting area, and you do a bit of soldiering, get some, like, hair on your chin.
Yeah.
And you'd become a man. So World War One destroyed the noble class of England.
Yeah. They all died.
Yeah.
That's what the Kingsman is about.
I think 50 is it's 40. I think it's 40% of the nobility of England was killed in World War One.
Wow.
And there's this horrible moment where it was it's called the separation between the cavalry and the foot soldier.
Yeah.
And there is this huge thing in World War One that the cavalry were all noblemen.
Yeah.
And the common soldier hated them.
Right.
And so the war starting, there's like the kind of disagreement, dislike for each other, the difference in classes. And there was they were out in the fields of France, and it's like one of the biggest cavalry units that the British had. And it's like, all right, the cavalryman's like, we're superior to these common soldiers. We got our horses. We fought in cavalry before. Yes, there's guns and cannons now, and like weapons technology is getting better, but we're still the cavalry.
Yeah.
We're a superior kind of soldier. And we're going to charge this lines. We're going to capture this hill that these guys haven't been able to take.
Yeah.
And they charged the lines, and the Germans had machine guns.
And they just wiped them out, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then after that, the officer corps changed, because the officer corps was also all noblemen. And the officer corps, a lot of the time, like the actual, not the like guys, the general sitting in the background, but the guys in the trenches who are nobles, who are officer corps, is like, right, these guys think of me as a poof, as a nobleman. They won't listen to me at all because of class difference. So to get them to listen to me, I have to be the greatest of all of them. I have to be nice to them, I have to be kind to them, I have to do things they want to do. And so a lot of the time, officers got killed because they'd be the first over the trench.
Demonstrating bravery for their men.
It's like, come on, men. Yeah. I'm your officer. I'm looking after you. This is my job. That's what officers do. That's what nobles do.
Right.
So I'll lead the charge, and you get up and then you get shot.
Yeah.
And so World War One destroyed the nobles of England, actually.
No, it messed up everyone.
And part of, like, oh, you might think, oh, well, it's the upper class, bourgeoisie, whatever, like, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah.
So the nobles were all the politicians.
Yeah.
And so who was left over were the cowards who didn't fight.
Well, Hitler said when he was in the hospital, there was people who would, they get something like this, you can, not this light, but they'd even do stuff like they'd shoot their hand or they'd stab it or something. So they'd get like a superficial wound. Like the kind of thing that in the modern day, you'd take the week off.
Yeah.
But, it was superficial. And then they would brag about it in the hospital, like, yeah, I'm off for 3 months because of this hand thing. I don't have to be on the front line. And it made Hitler so angry. He's like, you should be out there, like, dying for your country. You should be a brave man. Now, he claims that Hitler is a character because I don't think he was always telling the truth, but he might have been. That would be one option. Probably wasn't, though, because he was a politician. But I think there's, like, more misinformation and lies about him than anyone, right? So the idea of his Jewish grandmother, right? Like, that idea Hitler was actually Jewish.
Yeah.
So that was, like, I think that was started by another member of his party that didn't really like him. And in 2000 and, like...
Sorry, I was just thinking about a scene from Jojo Rabbit. I watched it recently.
Yeah.
And there's a German officer talking to Jojo.
Yeah.
I think it might actually be one of the Gestapo members.
Yeah.
It's like, that whole thing you've heard about Hitler only having one ball. It's false. He's very manly. He has 3. And each one's more mighty than any man's 2 testicles.
Yeah, so all that stuff. Like, Hitler was mad because he had syphilis. Hitler only had 1 ball. Hitler had cleft lip. Hitler had some sort of genital defect. Hitler was angry because he was rejected from art school, right?
Yeah.
So, Jewish grandmother. They took his blood from the couch where he committed suicide.
Yeah.
And they did a DNA test. No Jewish ancestry.
Yeah.
Hitler might have had syphilis at one point. However, in Hitler's own lifetime, a cure for syphilis was developed. And his doctor knew about the cure.
Yeah.
And so he could have just given him the cure.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, he probably didn't have syphilis for very long if he did have it ever. And he hated, now it could be projection, but he hated people who had syphilis. Like, he believed that they were awful, evil people who were just denigrating the country. He was kind of like a feminist in a way. It was weird because he was saying it's not the women's fault that they're being prostitutes, it's the men that are, like, paying them, essentially. And the men are the weak of character that are causing this problem. And the only way to get rid of prostitution is to fix family values and to... Because he believed syphilis was like the biggest problem the West was facing in the world, basically. And so he said, we need to reinstate family values. We need to make people like believe in things properly again. And once we've done all that, then finally we'll have the political will to round up all the people with syphilis and lock them away from the rest of society. And it's actually the most evil part of the book, I think. In the like, he's just like it will. He actually did say the unfortunate that are locked up, it'll be terrible for them. But for the history of humanity, it'll be a good thing. And I think that's the most evil part of the book.
But to drop back to how we were supposed to end about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That I really do like that Miriam's Day is the tombstone of everyone who was lost.
Yeah. No, I think that's what it means, and that's why I think we should keep it.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. Yeah.